Titan was feared by all, scarred, silent, and labeled too dangerous to adopt. Visitors at the shelter avoided him, and staff warned he'd bitten before. But Noah saw something different. When their eyes met, he didn't see rage. He saw pain's survival and a soul that hadn't given up. Ignoring all warnings, Noah whispered, "I know what it's like to be written off," and adopted the dog no one else dared to. That small act of courage marked the beginning of a transformation. In choosing Titan, Noah didn't just rescue a dog. He reached into a forgotten soul and offered something priceless: hope. When Noah brought Titan home, he wasn't expecting an easy journey. Titan paced through the night, growled at shadows, and flinched at the sound of his own reflection. But Noah didn't demand trust. He offered patience. Instead of commands, he gave quiet presence. Slowly, layers of trauma began to peel away. Titan wasn't aggressive. For no reason, he was scarred by a lifetime of cruelty. One report revealed he'd been trained with shock collars, starved, and locked alone for days. He didn't know safety. He only knew survival. But Noah didn't back down. During a thunderstorm, Titan panicked, tail tucked, body trembling. Noah didn't approach too fast or too close. He sat on the floor and simply whispered, "It's okay." Titan, still shaking, crept forward and gently placed a paw on Noah's knee. That single gesture, fragile but full of meaning, marked a breakthrough. Titan didn't sleep by the door that night. He lay beside the couch, not out of fear, but perhaps for the first time out of trust. Noah understood that healing wasn't about fixing. It was about being present. And in those quiet, broken moments, something powerful began: the transformation of a so-called monster into something no one had expected, a soul learning to feel again. Titan's transformation reached a turning point one quiet evening during what should have been a normal walk. The sun was low, casting soft shadows, and Titan walked calmly beside Noah, no longer the tense, growling figure from weeks before. Then chaos struck. A man sprinted from behind a van, yelling that someone was breaking into his home. At that exact moment, a masked intruder bolted from a nearby yard, heading straight toward Noah and the stranger. Without a word or command, Titan leapt into action. He didn't hesitate. He placed himself between his owner and danger. His body tense, teeth bared, growling with absolute determination. The would-be attacker froze, stumbled, then fled as neighbors began calling the police. Titan hadn't attacked. He had protected, calculated, and controlled the situation. When Noah knelt beside him, hands trembling with adrenaline and awe, Titan looked back with calm eyes, not wild, not angry, but sure. In that moment, the world saw what Noah had always believed: Titan wasn't dangerous. He had just never been given a chance. That night, Titan didn't just guard a man from harm. He shattered the myth of the unfixable dog and stood proudly as a silent guardian, proving loyalty isn't trained. It's earned through trust and love. The day after Titan stopped the break-in, word spread like wildfire. Photos of the once feared shelter dog standing proudly beside Noah flooded social media. Headlines read, "Scariest dog in town becomes local hero." Neighbors who used to cross the street to avoid Titan now waved and asked, "Can I pet him?" The shelter staff, stunned, called Noah to say, "We never thought he'd make it. We were wrong." Schools invited Noah and Titan to speak, and suddenly, dogs once labeled unadoptable began finding homes. Titan hadn't just transformed, he transformed others. He taught a town that judgment often hides the truth, and that behind the toughest exteriors may be a heart just waiting to heal. Noah sitting on his porch beside Titan, often repeated, "He was never broken, just buried." Titan didn't become a hero because of obedience. He became a hero because someone saw past. The fear stayed long enough to understand the pain and believed in what others dismissed. And in return, Titan gave not just loyalty, but a new definition of hope for every soul that's been overlooked, mislabeled, or left behind. His story became a quiet revolution, a reminder that sometimes healing doesn't bark or bite. It simply waits for someone brave enough to stay. Titan's story is more than a tale of redemption. It's a powerful lesson in how survival shapes the soul, labeled dangerous and aggressive. Titan had spent his life fighting to stay alive in a world that treated him with fear, pain, and abandonment. He had scars not just on his body, but on his spirit. His growls weren't threats, they were defenses built from trauma. But when Noah chose to see past the growls, he uncovered something deeper, a soul, desperate not for dominance, but for peace. Through patience, empathy, and unwavering calm, Noah gave Titan what no one else had ever offered: safety without strings. Slowly, Titan changed. His fear eased. His instinct shifted from self-protection to protection of others. He began to trust. And in that trust, his true nature emerged not as a beast, but as a guardian. He wasn't fixed. He was finally understood. His journey reminds us that fear doesn't make one evil. It means they've had to survive what others couldn't see. For the elderly especially, this story resonates deeply. It shows that healing takes time, patience, and the grace to be seen fully. Sometimes all a wounded heart needs is someone who won't flinch and who's willing to stay. In the stillness of evening, Noah sat quietly on his porch, Titan resting peacefully beside him. A dog once called a monster, now a symbol of redemption. Titan hadn't just found healing. He had helped an entire town rethink what it means to be broken. As the stars blinked into view, Noah gently stroked the dog's ears and whispered, "You were never dangerous. You just learned to survive." Titan's eyes flicked upward before settling back into calm. The truth was simple yet profound. Titan wasn't born angry. He had been trained by fear, hardened by isolation, and discarded by a world that refused to understand his pain. But one man's choice to see past the rage, to meet hurt with empathy, changed everything. What began as a silent, wounded animal grew into a protector, a friend, a local hero. His story became living proof that even those most feared might carry the deepest wisdom, and that trust once earned can rebuild what the world tries to erase. For elderly readers, this truth runs deep. We've all been misjudged at some point, all had our own scars. But Titan's journey reminds us that love still finds us in our most guarded places. That it's never too late for trust, for change, for hope. Titan's transformation did more than save one life. It sparked a wave of change throughout the community. Once labeled unadoptable, Titan became a hero, his story shared across social media, local newspapers, and school assemblies. His powerful leap to protect Noah from a would-be intruder revealed the truth behind his scars. Was a guardian, not a monster. The neighborhood that once crossed the street to avoid him now smiled, waved, and asked to pet him. Even the shelter staff, once doubtful, admitted they had been wrong. Titan wasn't broken, he was misunderstood. His story inspired an increase in adoptions, especially of dogs once overlooked due to behavior or appearance. Schools invited Noah and Titan to speak, and families found hope in their bond. For older generations, Titan's journey holds a special meaning. It's a reminder that no matter how wounded we've been or how long we've been misunderstood, healing is always possible. Sometimes the heart, it just needs to feel safe to begin again. And in the end, Titan didn't just find a home. He reminded others that loyalty, courage, and second chances can come from the unlikeliest places and change everything. As the sun dipped low over the porch, Noah sat beside Titan, the dog once feared, now trusted beyond measure. Titan's eyes no longer held rage, they held peace. The world had seen him as dangerous, unfixable, but it had only misunderstood a soul shaped by pain. Through patience, love, and quiet understanding, Noah showed Titan a life where he didn't have to fight to survive. In return, Titan gave back something few expected: unshakable loyalty. He didn't just protect Noah from an intruder. He protected a life that had once been just as lost as his own. Their bond became a quiet miracle, one built not on commands, but compassion. For the elderly, this story holds a powerful truth. No one is too old, too hurt, or too far gone to begin again. Sometimes all it takes is someone willing to sit quietly in the shadows beside us, waiting, listening, and refusing to give up. Titan was never broken, just waiting to feel safe. And in saving him, Noah saved himself too. In a world that often gives up on the difficult, their story proves the most remarkable transformations begin with empathy, and that healing like love is always possible, even in life's later chapters. The stories of these once abandoned or misunderstood dogs reveal a deeper truth that resonates profoundly with those in their golden years. Healing takes time, and love often comes from the most unexpected places. Many of these dogs carried scars, both seen and unseen, just as people do after a lifetime of joys, losses, and battles fought silently. But with patience, kindness, and trust, they found not just a second chance, but a purpose. For older adults, this reminds us that no matter how long we've carried pain or how invisible we've felt, there is still time to be seen, to heal, and to offer love again. Life doesn't end at a certain age, it transforms. Just as these dogs found new meaning through the compassion of one soul, so too can we find renewal by reaching out, by believing that even the most guarded hearts can soften. The past may shape us, but it doesn't define our worth. Whether in a wagging tail or a quiet moment shared, there is always hope. And it's never too late to be part of a story where love leads the way home.